Much and good morning.
Mr. Premier, just to start off, tell us a little bit about the Cuban Ambassador's visit to the province and what it means.
The Cuban Ambassador has visited us since yesterday. We've been with him yesterday, and the MECs were with him in the where he was delivering a lecture, a public lecture at the University of Venda yesterday evening. Today he's around visiting hospitals, visiting other institutions where Cubans are deployed. He will also be assisting us in terms of assessing the type of assistance that Cuba can render to this province of ours. And we will be sitting down discussing with him a number of other issues, including the increase of the medical students that we are sending down there, including, again, the Memorandum of Understanding that we signed with Cuba in 2003 when Premier Advocate Aaron Motsoaledi signed a Memorandum of Agreement with a province called Holguin in Cuba. That memorandum hasn't been really activated, because a number of things that they had agreed upon were not activated. So we would want to look for ways and means of resuscitating that memorandum and making sure that we reactivate it.
Mr. Premier, the relation, what does the future hold for your relationship with Cuba? Is there a chance of even investment opportunities or further exchange in other fields and so forth?
Yes, there's a huge chance. For example, we are increasing our number. Like you said, Minister Motsoaledi has said he would be increasing this number of students studying in Cuba. We are increasing our number. This year we'll be sending about 110 students. Very soon we'll be seeing them off to Cuba. And we also want to explore the other fields, like the field of engineering and the like, because we do have assistance from the side of Cuba already in two departments, government departments, in the field of technicians and in the form of technicians and engineers. In the Department of Public Works, we do have a number of engineers from Cuba, and in the Department of Cossio also, we do have some technicians from Cuba assisting our people in terms of developing the rural housing programs and the like. So there is definitely a lot of a bright future that we see in this relationship between us and the Cubans. We also thinking of looking into other things, like, for example, as you'll remember that Limpopo is actually a mining province also. Yeah. We do have a lot of mining deposits here in this province. And we know that Cuba doesn't have mines, but they do have technology. Yeah. They invested a lot in their people. They trained, when it comes to human resources, they are very advanced. So we want to look into ways and means in which they can assist us, or perhaps give us ideas as to how did they get it right in terms of getting their people that skilled, including the people who are resident in their rural provinces. So I think we'll be sharing such ideas with them, and we may also be in the position to can enter into some form of agreements at some stage.
Yeah, Mr. Premier, I wanted to move on to the here and now. Let's talk about the province itself quickly. Some would say that you've taken over one of the hot seats in South African politics, and it was an administration in absolute turmoil. Are you happy with what the media are calling the turnaround strategy of the province and where you are heading now, being as far in as you are?
Yes, I'm definitely happy. Almost everything is falling into place as planned. I would say I'm happy with the progress done till thus far. You would remember that, like you correctly put it, that at some stage this province was deep into a very serious trap of debt, where it had an overdraft of something like 1.7, an unauthorized expenditure of 1.7 billion, an unauthorized expenditure of about 2.7 billion also. I can tell you now that we are very cash positive currently. I think at the end of last month, we were at about 3.3 billion cash positive. So that to me says the strategies and the plans are working as expected, and we are doing well.
Let's just quickly, ahead of election, next year's election here, are you going to be ready for the election, and what are your main challenges?
As a province, yes, we'll be ready for the elections. Currently, our main challenges are in the field of accessibility, accessing the youth in rural areas, ensuring that they go and get their IDs, ensuring that they are aware of the demands of this democracy, because without them, this democracy will never be made meaningful to ordinary people in our province. Because as you would notice, Limpopo is a very rural province, and mostly in rural areas you get the elderly people, who are no longer in their working age. But in Limpopo, we also have a lot of young people who are at their working age and who are actually unemployed. So those are the challenges that we are facing currently, of ensuring that those who are not employed are ready for employment, and they actually do get employment. And we also have the challenges of access to certain areas, because you would notice that in a rural area you'll have problems with the road infrastructure. You'll have problems with things such as water and sanitation. Those are the biggest challenges that are facing us now. And I would say that we do have plans in place. We are dealing with that together with our sister department, the Department of Water Affairs, the Department of Water Affairs, yes, and other national departments which are here. The question of administration, Section 100B administration, I think we are doing very well in terms, as you would note that at some stage Cabinet took a resolution that the administration can never be permanent with us here. At some stage, they will be leaving us because they feel that they have babysitted us enough, and we are at a stage where we can no longer crawl but walk on our own.
Thank you, Mr. Premier. And thank you very much for joining you, and I'm sure we'll speak again just before in the run-up to the election next year. All the success with the challenges you're facing in the province of Limpopo. That is Mr. Stanley Mathabatha, who is the Premier of the Limpopo province here in South Africa. Moving